going on, guys? Rewinds here, and today I'm bringing you my review of Boruto episode 223. So, we got a good bit to talk about for this episode, actually. But I do want to say initially that I did enjoy this episode. I think it was a good to a pretty good episode. It was, I would say it was well animated, better than I expected, definitely above your average. I mean, not like spectacular, but it was definitely good in terms of animation. And I think it was a memorable episode overall, so let's talk about it. So, we actually start off with this episode with Boruto and Mitsuki looking at the Hokage's stone faces, and we basically hear them talking about them wanting to become Chunin, especially Boruto. And then out of nowhere, you have Himawari show up all concerned. Then we skip over to the Chunin exams arena where everyone else has already gathered. Well, actually, that's a little too soon. So this is like a little before everybody gathers, actually. So what happened is we got Shikamaru, Sai, and Konohamaru talking about how they were really lucky to get the arena ready on time and how Shikamaru kind of wanted to do just something plain, but thanks to Konohamaru, they got some proper prep done. And for these actual one-on-one matches, Konohamaru will be the referee of the matches. And once again, I think this is like a cool little thing to throw him into because at least it shows he's doing something, and it shows why he hasn't been around, since that one episode where he fought Ishiki. So, nice to hear that about him. And then we move on back to Boruto and Mitsuki, where Himawari is telling them about these bandits that her and a few of her friends that she made while at ninja training had discovered. So basically her friends were tracking these shady looking guys, which they think are bad guys. And now Himawari is really concerned because her friends are chasing after them. And obviously they can't really fight them on their own because they're just kids. But it's cool to see Himawari doing something like that. And she alerts Boruto and Mitsuki about it. So we kind of have Boruto and Mitsuki stuck in a subplot, I guess. Or stuck in a side plot. So they're out here dealing with that while the Chunin exams is going on. So it seems like they might be late or might not make it at all. Then we have this conversation between Kawaki and Naruto back at their house. Basically, Naruto just says to Kawaki that he should come to the Chunin exams to watch. Kawaki is reluctant at first, but he does later decide that he's willing to go see the fights. So Kawaki shows up and spectates that. Then we have everyone actually gathered at the arena minus Boruto and Mitsuki. So that brings some concern if they're going to be disqualified. Sarada's really concerned for them, and she asks Konohamaru what's going to happen. Konohamaru says that for the matches, their names will be drawn. So as long as Boruto or Mitsuki's name isn't drawn, they are still yet to be disqualified, but extra time won't be given to them. So luckily for Boruto and Mitsuki, their name wasn't drawn. At first, it turned out to be Inojin and Hoki. So Boruto and Mitsuki have lucked out so far. This part I found pretty funny. There's a scene where Boruto and Mitsuki, as well as Himawari, end up reaching Himawari's friends. And now they see these shady-looking people talking to Amado. So there's like a brief conversation, then there was like a little funny scene where they just toss Amado into a train. Or a van. I think it was a train. But it was a pretty funny scene. But it's interesting that Amado's involved in this little thing too. I feel like they might have just done it as a joke, but maybe he could be involved in something a little bigger. Maybe he's just trying to collect some resources or gather some info or something. Hope they discuss that sometime later on. Because this is probably going to be a decently big plot point, I think, going down these next few episodes. Then we cut over back to the exams. Now we're about halfway to the episode. And we see Inojin versus Hoki beginning. So Inojin actually strikes first in this battle. He uses his Super B scroll. He gets in like a few quick hits on Hoki. But Hoki, actually, surprisingly, this is something I was very impressed with. He actually uses Earth style, and he covered the whole arena with his Earth style, and I think that's pretty crazy for him to be that OP with Earth style already. He must have been through quite some training to get there, because um, he made like a whole Earth style maze around the arena. So that was an interesting sight to see as well. Um, he had Inojin confused, and he had a bunch of people shocked. And it definitely shows he's been working. It definitely made me like him more as a character as well. Makes him stand out a little bit more than just a copycat of Kakashi. It is also pretty cool that he's using Earth style like Kakashi used to as well. So nice little callback right there. So this is a big thing. Then we have Hoki just running around his own maze. People in the crowd were thinking he might be lost, but he wasn't actually lost. What he actually does, Sai explained, is that Hoki has photographic memory. So this is also comparable to what Kakashi has with the Sharingan, because Kakashi can copy things such as jutsu, right? I don't know if Hoki's going to be able to necessarily copy jutsu, but Hoki can at least memorize things, which is a very useful thing, especially if you're doing infiltration missions or involved in any type of mission where you need to remember the tiniest details, such as Anbu missions. So this is a very useful ability in my opinion, and I think you can compare it to some of the eyes in the show, except Hoki just has regular eyes, but he just has great memory, I guess you can say. So I thought that was pretty cool. I started liking Hoki a lot more as a character throughout this episode. Before I was pretty indifferent about him, but this is good stuff. Good stuff by the writing staff for the Boruto anime. Then we move on. We have Hoki just throwing a bunch of kunai attacks at this point from different angles at Inojin. He landed a little bit of the kunai attack, so Inojin was a little bit injured. This is very big, of course, too, because this shows you that Hoki potentially could be low on chakra at this point a little bit, because he used such a high skill Earth style jutsu. Then we move on. Inojin, to get out of the maze and maybe find Hoki, he decides to go from above, which is pretty smart by Inojin, but Hoki was prepared yet again for Inojin. And how he was prepared is he uses his Earth style jutsu, not at the same level, but he uses his Earth style jutsu to knock Inojin out of the air. Inojin is falling, but he braces his fall, so he's okay. But Inojin at this point is now low on chakra, so Hoki knows that he's gonna want to finish the match soon. So now there's a whole concern in the crowd with like Shikadai and Chocho that Inojin's in a tough spot, and Hoki is seemingly predicting majority of Inojin's moves. Seems like he did his research well. And then we move on from there. Inojin resorts to the mind transfer jutsu. He thinks that is his last resort right now to possibly beat Hoki. And Inojin actually does something really smart here. And honestly, I gotta just say, guys, that I love how tactical this battle was. It really did give me old school vibes, and it did make me think about how important fights are in this show when they involve both characters actually showcasing themselves to the fullest, because I did feel like both of them did a really great job despite the winner. So this was a very well done battle, and I hope they keep the momentum going into the other battles remaining in this Chunin exams. So how Inojin tries to take advantage of the mind transfer here is by leaving a trail for Hoki with his scroll, his Super B scroll. He just leaves like little paint marks, and he kind of sits himself in an area where he feels like Hoki will be able to find him, and he feels like Hoki is going to strike him from his blind spot, which Hoki does try to do. And that is exactly when Inojin predicts it, turns around, and hits Hoki with the mind transfer jutsu. And Inojin at that point is confident. There's a cool shot of him standing over Hoki like he has won the battle. And right then, you just see kind of like a mud clone or something pop up. I mean, I know it's not a mud clone, but what it actually was is a technique taught to Anbu members to prevent information from being extracted from them. And that is the jutsu that actually snaps Hoki out of the mind transfer, and then Inojin, as a result, is surprised, and now Inojin's on the ground because his mind transfer technically failed because of that Anbu resistance, and Hoki is the winner, holding a kunai towards Inojin. So overall, like I said, guys, pretty good battle, maybe even a great battle for if we're accounting for the tactics used in it, the animation, what both characters showcase. This is what I think makes a good fight in a series like this. Hopefully we get more like these rather than fights where it's too predictable, or fights where there's some sleepers where we aren't as interested. Not all of them have to be animated great or anything, but as you can see, sometimes the plot really carries the fight. And in this instance, I really think this is one of those times. So, shout out to the writing staff for the Chunin exam so far for the anime. So far, the Chunin exams for me is 2 out of 3 for episodes. I've enjoyed this one and the last one. I did not enjoy the first one because, like I told you guys in a previous review, I felt like it was rushed. But they are going towards the right track, so I am happy with that. Hopefully next week we also continue that on. A few more points I gotta mention is Sai basically has given people like Hoki and his team some intense training, because they used to be failures when they joined Sai. But due to their skills and due to their hard work, they've advanced a lot. And now we got Hoki as a Chunin, so props to him. The next match was drawn up by Konohamaru, and this next match is going to be Iwabe versus Wasabi. And this will be, I feel like it's going to be like this episode where it's going to be half about the fight and half about what's going on with Boruto and Mitsuki on their pursuit of the bandits and to rescue Amado, supposedly. So then we have the episode ending off with a train with Boruto and Mitsuki on the train that they were following the bandits on. They break in and they find out it's basically empty, so the bandits have gotten away. They must have caught a wind of them somehow, but that's where the episode closes off. I'm assuming this plot line is going to continue on next episode as well. I don't think Boruto and Mitsuki are just going to show up at the Chunin exams just yet. I think that's going to continue on while the other matches in the Chunin exams proceed. But yeah, that's going to be it for my review, guys. If I'm rating this episode, I think I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10, like a solid 7.5 out of 10, maybe an 8 if we're pushing it. Really good stuff. Probably my favorite episode of the 3 we've gotten for this anime Chunin exam so far. Let's hope they can keep it up. Let me know what you guys thought about the fights in the comments below, but that's going to be it for my review. I'll be sure to leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. Hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.